Dzień dobry Państwa. Teraz prezentacja Beyond the Clicks, how automations define creativity. And I'm sorry, this is the maximum I can do with my good Polish. It will be English. So, talking a little bit about me, that's my name. Yeah, usually, unfortunately, Qlik. So I'm working at, say, the Merck KGaA, more than 30 years working in BI and consulting. So, but let's go ahead and just talk about how automations can simplify tasks and things for us. Because I'm mostly in the platform side, and sometimes we're struggling with manual tasks, which are not supposed to be manual, and then we can use the automation to allow us to go one step further. So I can give you an example of exporting a theme or exporting extension, because today on the SaaS it's not possible to do that straightforward. We could also move applications between spaces, so it's basically we create a CDI pipeline to ensure we're going to move an application, data connection, data files, everything you need. You don't have to move manually, even if it's simple. And also, it was the biggest achievement we could make it was we created applications within tenants, because in our scenario, we first have a tenant located in EU, and we need to switch to DE. But the most complicated thing is we have some users which has some private content, so notifications, bookmarks, and sheets, and they want to have this in the new tenant, and we want to decommission the previous one. So we create automation with some help of JavaScript as well, in order to bring it back to the owners. And until today, it has been 2 years, I don't have any complaint, so I think it was successful. We can start for the simple one, which is how we can export, because today, if you want to export, we need to use Qlik. But in our case, we thought about, can we just build an application, and then we can use automation to make our life easier? So I can show you, we built this app, so we can select by developer or by extension name. In that case, I select my name. Then I have 3 extensions, and I want to export those 3 extensions. So I need to wait a little bit, and the background automation is running. And as you can see, I have already exported the 3 extensions which I have selected. And I do the same thing for the extension case, for the Teams case. So selecting me, because I made it one, and also I will select another one from another person. So I have like in the total 3 exporting, and I can see those 3 has been exported successfully. Then we also have the moving apps. So ideally, when you don't have such complex scenario where you have a lot of developers, or you have an extension behind, and you have your self-service client, which is just want to build a small app to do some reloads, and you want to ensure that you still have some governance behind. You can use this automation to simply make your life a little bit easier, because it identifies what apps we need to be updated. We also identify if the application is still in the space which wants to send it, he made a backup and put it in another place, not for the application, but also for the data files and the data connection. And also it was a homebrew thing, so it was very friendly user for the team. So also I can show you how it works. So, sorry. In this case, I have this space, which is my admin automation, and I want to call 2 apps from the admin automation UIT to the production one. So I run this automation, and the thing I have to do is I select my tenant, because in this case I have 2. So in that case I select DE. Then I also have to select, I have a huge list of space, but I know which space I'm looking for, and also because my user has access to all, that's why I can see all. I select it, then it informs me what space I have selected, and because in Merck we have this pattern of its UIT and the space name, so I know I need to just remove the UIT, so he tells me he will look for this one, and then he gives me the information where it goes, and I can select the apps here. So in that case I want to select those 2, submit, and from the back end, it will do all the process which I needed, which is checking if the application exists. If the application exists, he will do a backup in a different space, or you can be in the S3 bucket or SharePoint, it's up to you. Then he will give you the information when it's successfully done. Now he's doing for the second app, because I have select two applications. Also say where it's backup, so you can see the backup information here. So name the application, backup name, and also the space. He asked me if I want to reload the app, so in that case I will say yes. So it will wait the refresh of the application, in case if you need it. If not, you can just say no. Once the reload is finished, then he will go for the next application, doing the same process. So it's basically doing the checks. If existing previously, create a backup, go for that space, and for that particular space where we made backups, we also create another process to ensure if the application was not updated for 14 days, we just delete it because we believe the promotion was successfully and we don't need to restore nothing. Once we get this information, he asked me if I want to also move the data files. So in that case, if I want to move the data files, I will select yes. Then it gives me an option to select which data file I want to move it. Then the same process, checking if it exists before. If in case it exists before, make a backup, and then publishing the new updated file. Then he will ask me if I want to have also data connections, because maybe sometimes you're already pointing to problem. Sometimes happen, but we know we're not supposed to, but it's happened. I can say also, yes, I want to push the data connection. And I have here the data connections related to this space. I can send them. In that particular case, it's duplicate and then sending the data connections also to this space. As you can see, right here, this is the new space, the space with production, where you can see the applications. So just refreshing. So you can see the app has been updated 2 minutes ago, and another one has been updated 2 minutes ago, because it was when I ran it, and this was the data files changed. Also for the data connections, the only drawback is I cannot rename it directly. So what I have to do, I have to duplicate it, and then I just rename it, because the API doesn't have yet, but the Qlik promise it will be able, so I can update my automation to also give me the same thing. And I think it was the most complicated and the most harder process for us. It was this migration between one tenant to the other one, right? So to doing that, we need to, first of all, have the JavaScript process to collect all my objects which exist in the current application, identify the owners, generate me an output CSV. From that one, we have automation, which I would like to show you. Basically, I selected the first name from. I selected also the space, because we do for the whole space in one time. You don't need to do app by app. So to be a little bit more fast, that is select only 2 apps. Then I select the server 2, which is my S3 server. And technically, you already have created a space there, so we assume you're going to use the same space name. So what it does is basically give you the whole information, but he sent the application through the tenant. What the idea of this space, because my JavaScript needs to run behind, following the tenant to extract all the objects. Then he tells you to access this, upload your output file, then running into this. So basically, when I continue here, it will select this app, which we're going to be showing. This one. So those applications are already here. So this one was 1 minute when we have been executing. And now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say I want to continue the process. So in this case, you execute the JavaScript, you get the content, go to this output CSV. In that case, I was just putting in the data file, but you and point it to a SharePoint or to S3 bucket, what is best for you. And you say, yes, I want to continue the process. So he will execute the process of reading and then giving back the contents to the owners. So he will check each app and each data which has in the output CSV file to ensure, so in this case it is 282 content app which is doing this process for me, and he's only this output file. And then he checked one by one the object which I have, and if he find the match, if the object ID is the same as object ID which I have previously, he will just give them back to the person. This case, since it's a huge space, it will take a little bit of time. So all of this case, this scenario was for me. But when I scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see there was like two persons which has a different object. So that case on the bottom is X234708, so it's a different user. So he's gonna send it back this content to the proper user, which make life simple because I don't need to make some rocket science to send it back, maybe build it, and do a lot of things which we're supposed to, which we should. And then also there is what we can do next with automations from my perspective. Of course, we can do some access management, so check it. If your AD group is matching, for example, with your section access file, it's possible, and then you can report to the data owner there is a discrepancy. AI integrations, where you can use the automation to integrate to the AI get the answers, so you avoid the reloads. So cross-linkage check verifications, because if you have a global application where you need to send your user to the best closest server which we have, you can also use this to ensure they exist in the both tenants, and also discrepancy checks, like you ensure there is the section access is totally fulfilled, so you don't ask for any problems. And then, if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer right now.